Let's hear what Hannah You Suck has to say.
I feel like I'm gonna be single forever because I don't want a man who treats me well because he's in love with me. I want a man who generally treats women well and also happens to be in love with me. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to date someone who has um thousands of horror stories about how they tortured women and then he fell in love with me, so he treats me differently from everyone else. I want a consistent track record of treating women like human beings, and he also is in love with me. So I'm special. And I just feel like that's just not possible in this day and age. And it makes me very nervous.
That was one of the dumbest videos I've ever watched. Essentially, what she's trying to say is that she wants a guy to essentially be perfect. Now, to be honest, I don't know how many guys out there are torturing women like she's implying. I know she's trying to be extreme to paint a point, but what is that line that's considered torture or not? And in her case, I'd imagine that her line for what she defines as torture is probably extremely low. Basically, she, like most women, wants a guy that fully accepts female nature. At the same time, though, while they have to accept female nature, they also have to buy into the fantasy that she is somehow unique and stands out amongst the crowd, even if in reality, she doesn't at all. If what she's saying is true, then the only guy that's ever going to get her is a guy that's willing to play the game, entertain the fantasy, essentially manipulate his way into her liking him. He has to craft a very delicate story. He has to accept everything she does, which is probably go out, take naked Instagram photos, maybe even talk shit about men online, all while simultaneously buying into the fact that she is somehow special and unique than all the other women that do that online. If you have any ounce of reasonability as a guy, you're never going to buy into this, so the only way to do it is by essentially just playing the game. I wonder if girls realize how impossible they make themselves to date. They claim to want a guy, but then their standards make it impossible to retain a guy at all. Women are people. Not all people are good. Just because you treat one woman poorly does not mean you'll treat someone else poorly. The question is never, what did that woman do? The implication is always, what did you do as a guy to make her act that way? Because of this girl is most likely right. She will never find a guy because what she's looking for is impossible to find. Now let's get into the truth part of this video. Even though this girl said all of these things, the irony is she'll probably go for a guy that makes her feel a certain way despite having maybe have treated somebody poorly in the past. This is why you have to be a little careful about what they say. Girls will say a lot of different things, then they do the opposite. Body counts are growing and babies are still being born. Sure, the birth rate may be lower than before, but it still exists. Therefore, these girls have to be getting with someone. If they all truly believed in this stuff, they would avoid men altogether. The reality is they never do. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.